Hi, my name is Jane, and welcome to my world. Yesterday, I got tested for coronavirus. So, there has been a little bit of controversy that I don't want to get into about, like, xenophobia against foreigners in Korea, and there's a whole thing about that. But basically, I don't know exactly what led us to this, but if I'm not mistaken, which I totally could be, all of the Hagwons, at least in Daegu, maybe in all of Korea, they're required to get tested because they're worried about the kids getting coronavirus. At first, I thought it was just the foreigners because of, like, a few weeks ago there was an incident in Itaewon, which is like a big foreigner hub in Seoul, and there were several English teachers there that went back to their schools and lied about being in Itaewon at the time and then had coronavirus and gave it to some of the staff and children. And then so they started targeting English schools, English Hagwons, which is an academies. Hagwon means academy. So I could be wrong. I'm not totally sure on all of those specifics, but more or less, I got tested for coronavirus yesterday. Some of the other teachers kept asking me if I was scared, and I wasn't afraid of the actual test because, like, in my mind, it couldn't have been any worse than getting your blood drawn. I don't really like that, but, like, I can handle it. I can get through it okay, even though I don't like it. So I kept thinking, like, even if it's not fun, I know I can get through it. It'll be okay. I was more worried, like, I thought that for some reason that it was going to be in some kind of, like, emergency room looking clinic with, like, sick people over there and the people that are trying to get tested over here, and that, like, the thing I was worried about was getting it after having gone there. Like, maybe if I didn't have it before, I might now because there are people with coronavirus right there, which was really stupid of me to think that way, but I guess I had done no research before and hadn't even thought about it. So anyway, it was totally different when we showed up. It was all of our, like, staff from our school. We all got in the van and drove down, and it was outside, which was something I was not expecting. It was like a wire cage with a tent set up inside, and then there was, like, a pop-up office where they got their little hazmat suits on. Even though we all showed up in a van together, they made us separate, like, social distancing, don't get close to each other, even though we work together and we sit next to each other in our desks. But so we had to, like, separate. They called us out one by name, and we had to stand, like, in a perfect line. And then one by one, they stuck, it looked like a mascara wand to me, but wasn't black, obviously, in our nose, and they went, like, up and then pushed it all the way to the back, which it didn't hurt per se. It did sting a little bit, but it just felt super, super weird. And, like, I just remember being like, and then, like swirled it around a little bit. And then she took another swab and, like, put a tongue depressor on my tongue, pushed that down, and then stuck it in the back of my throat and kind of swirled it around a bit. And then it was over. She stuck them in, like, some liquid. She broke them off and sealed it, put it with whatever. And then I got a free hand sanitizer. And then they were just like, all right, go exit the tent this way. And that was it. It was super low key. And by the way, I don't have coronavirus. The results already came back. But it was an interesting experience. I just thought I would tell you about it. Was I missing anything? Oh, so after I got out of the tent. I did gag a little bit whenever they put the tongue depressor on my tongue, but it was like super low key. I didn't actually feel like I was gonna throw up or anything. But after I came out, I started to feel sore, like back in the back of my sinuses, and it got worse throughout the day. It felt kind of like when I start to feel like I'm getting a cold and the back of my sinuses are sore. And so I started to worry, like, did I get something? I mean, surely I didn't get something because everything was super, super sterile. But I went to sleep last night and woke up, and everything's fine now. But it was a little bit unpleasant. But it's nice to know I don't have it. So that was my coronavirus testing story. Thanks for watching.